Hey there, this is Calvin Baker with Mini Pots, and this is another week in review, and I still have it's the start of the school year, a bit of overwhelmed with stuff, and need I say more? 3 kids. My youngest is in kindergarten, my oldest is in fourth grade, and the middle one is first grade, and it's a interesting time. I don't need to say any more. I think you figured it out, or I hope you have. But I've not worked at the bench for anything. I've not done any hobbying. Um, I, in fact, had to clear off some of my desk just to be able to sit here, and you can see where I have my future banner pole for my skirmish World War One Weird War fighter, and I think that will work out nicely. I think it's creepy enough. But what I have been doing is a little bit of this. And this is the Five Kingdoms of Icemark. And this is on my iPad. I am not playing it on my iPad. It would be doable, but I am playing it on my computer. And he nicely created some aids for this, but I'll go into that in a little, not, not here, um, in a different episode. But the you can see it's quite extensive, and in the PDF mode it's over 500 pages, and I think when it finally gets finished it's going to be very close to 600, if not 5 some. I don't know how he works that, if through this stage he's created the document and we're doing the playthroughs and giving him suggestions or comments on errors or misspellings that we found and things that aren't clear. But for the most part, I've got to say, it is very clear. I am a reader who can either go really fast or not at all fast. And it sometimes when I'm fast, I skim. And so I've missed some details that have screwed up the way I play. And but it's my own game, and I'm okay with that. And I don't, what is the respec? I guess if we were doing a WoW or a different MOMA, I don't respec everything. These are the dice that you play with, your percentile dice and your D6s, and I suppose you could probably use some other D dice if you wanted to, for markers and things, or time trackers, just so you could stay on top of certain things. Not mandatory, but this is what you need. At least a couple D6s and a couple percentile sets. I have my red set that I should probably be using instead of 2 sets of blue, but that's fine. Combat's quick. Is it in the vein of some of the other games I mentioned? Forbidden Psalm? No. 5 Leagues from the Borderlands, 5 Parsecs from Home? No. But it is, I think you would call it a hex crawl solo adventure game. And I don't know how many of you. Anyway, I'm enjoying it. I don't know how much longer I will play it because I am having a hard time working with the PDF and the web tools and my book. I may get to a certain point and then go to the hard copy when it comes out. So this was on Kickstarter. I mentioned I backed it. He got us the PDFs last week, 2 weeks ago, and I didn't do it right away. Download them. I got into drive through RPG, that type of stuff, and I very very uh, pleased with it. Enough that I have had Morkin on my want to buy radar for some time, and I think it might become a I buy thing. But I still am a little bit more inclined to the um, miniature games. There's a little bit more depth of hobby, depth of gameplay for me. Not that this is not deep, that it's pretty crunchy too, which I like. You have your food, you have your weather, you have your how the weather can affect certain things, and I am enjoying that crunchiness, but it's good. I will play it, and it may be something I play for a long time in the sense that I have it on my computer or I have it on the book, and I have a notebook and some spare dice, and you can do a couple things real quick and on to the next thing. And it's simple, but it's not simple. And I don't get the anyway. Um, so that's what I've been doing hobby wise. I haven't touched anything, and that's 100% my fault. I've thought about some things, and that still is 100% my fault, but nothing has come out of it. The hobby for me right now is I thought it would give more time to things, but it hasn't. It's sort of the exact opposite right now with the kids getting in school because we're worried about, all the different changes. And if you've had kids in school, sometimes it's simple, but it's not simple. And we have a couple kids that have really hard problems with transitions and um, working on that and explaining things. And they're young and trying to make sure that they are in the right spots to do everything. And, if you came here for on this particular show for hobby tips, new things, new gaming, I'm sorry. And I hope that you aren't totally turned off by my sort of little wandering and meandering mind and discussion. But that's where I'm at right now. And I think a lot of you guys are probably in a similar boat if you are one of those guys who actually pays attention to your kids and what's going on with them. You probably get it. You probably get more of this than I realize. And I'm very grateful for that. And I've had some very kind comments and encouragement around this, which I appreciate. So, mentioning that, if you have something to contribute or you have questions or anything, please leave it in the comments below. And remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have suggestions for different things, I have a couple more flip throughs that I've filmed that I just need to get finished and edited. And hopefully I can get those scheduled and up. I'm trying to do some things ahead of time because my life is going to be a little bit crazier, and I don't want it to affect the channel. I've worked hard to get it where it's at, and I appreciate it, and I know how can I say this? So I listen to a lot of the YouTube channels, and I really appreciate having this format or entertainment for, let's go there. And when it's not there, I begin to wonder. I have to find something else to put in it. And I do have a couple other things that I do, but this is like the primary one. I have eased up on some of it because I was able to, for a while, listen to things during the workday, but this is the a spear from the Swamp Orcs from Age of Sigmar, and I am converting this to the banner, and I probably will get it mostly built, and I don't know how I want to. I think either Kleenex or a soft paper and sort of a pennant type. And the idea of this Weird War game is that the Doggerland has become exposed to these ancient mystical things that have been laying between the lands of England, Scotland, have now are now closer to the surface or on the surface. So the prehistoric ancient things that were underwater are now on the surface, and this is or near the surface. So it wouldn't be unusual to be walking across the landscape and come across a huge skeleton of something or monolithic stones or all sorts of interesting. Plus, to boot, it's during a World War One period, so there will be trenches and there will be forests and blasted out craters and great cannons and the debris of war laying about. And so, having a primitive yet not too and yet fantastical weapon. There's also magic in it. So, like one of the teams that I wrote up for it has a witches and a ogre and a. I would say if you remember in Drist, there's a. If you read those books, there's a little speedy character that's there that he fights a couple times, and I sort of imagine the critter in this game to be like that, or possibly goblinoid, sort of a Smeagol or Gollum, and but with I'm going to use the word tact or strategy in the sense that it's a bit of a combatant, and so I have this team that has the werewolf, and then the other team that has witches and a ogre and this little other critter, plus a couple of the World War II soldiers. And there are not nationalities yet, if ever, in this game. Um, it's just the way he wrote it. He didn't do the nationalities in it, but there are. Uh, it's sort of implied, I think. Sorry, I just looked down and saw a couple little sprues from. These are the War Games Atlantic bases. I like them because you can magnetize the center, and I get the magnets from Magnet Baron, and the they work well. I sometimes that little hole on your miniature will fill up with glue, not on this one, but I had one, so I had to burr it out. But I like these. There's a new set of bases that have texture on it, so it's automatically thought you're going to be flipping them over. I need to get a set of those. So, and once I do, I'll try to post something about that on here. So anyway, reading, still sort of working through the things I've been working through. I haven't read much, but I have been reading this Five Kingdoms of the Icemark. Enjoying that. I did buy a book, and when I begin to read it, I will talk about it in a little bit more detail. It's a fantasy children's book. The uh, watching Undead Unlock. We're trying to get one of the kids through the Mandalorian series again. Um, their attention span stops around episode 2 or 3. I enjoy the series. My wife and I actually enjoyed the series watching that together, so we had a lot of fun with that. But because of life, we stopped watching around season 2, so the third season. If there's a fourth one, I have no idea. Listening to podcasts, and I've gotten into the Y-Files because it's sort of that creepy crawly unknown stuff, which I like. And the if you have any other suggestions for something, give me a make a comment. Let me know. So thank you very much for making it this far through the episode, and I appreciate it. Have a great one. Happy gaming.